Hey folks, welcome back to Skyward Sword. We're here in the Lanayru Desert, in the area close to the Temple of Time, which is a little weird. If you're familiar with the Zelda series, your world may again be turning upside down right now. And since this area is just basically some time manipulation gimmicks that you can understand just by watching, I'm going to go full-on Zelda nerd and explain the history of the Temple of Time, as far as we know. Okay, so the Temple of Time originally came to be in Ocarina of Time, fittingly enough, where it was located in Hyrule Castle Town, which, it was basically a sacred hub for the Master Sword. It was a gateway to the Sacred Realm. The Triforce was there somewhere. Overall, kind of a big deal. But then, in Twilight Princess, which take place about 100-ish years after Ocarina of Time, some period of time, we get another Temple of Time in the Faron Woods. And either it is actually in the Faron Woods, or the temporal distortion space-time continuum jump portal thing that you go into to enter the dungeon is like a warp to another place. I don't really know. But we got conflict. We got in Hyrule Castle Town, and we got in Faron Woods. And now, here we have it in the Lanayru Desert. And Lanayru Desert is just all sorts of confusing. But the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. And I can't give you a full explanation right now, because there would be some spoilers involved. But basically, part of the explanation is that Lanayru, the Lanayru province, is actually home to the Hyrule Castle Town in Twilight Princess. So it would be possible that this is in fact the same location as the Temple of Time in Ocarina of Time. We don't know for sure. The explanation for the one in the forest, well, there is an explanation, but unfortunately I can't really reveal that right now. I will get into it later, but basically there are two explanations. Either there are two Temples of Time that will be addressed through the course of this game, or Nintendo doesn't care, and neither should you. And since I'm a nerd, and I love making connections that may or may not be there, I will go with the first explanation. But you're free to ignore me. Anyway, unfortunately, our access to the temple is a bit obstructed. There was some explosion damage, and Zelda and the mysterious stranger are on the other side. So we'll need to find another entrance into the temple. And to do that, we need to do a roundabout and then go through a secret passage and a dungeon and all sorts of good stuff. I mean, it kind of reminds me of that scene in, I guess, the Two Towers, Lord of the Rings Two Towers, where they're at the gates of Mordor, and they can't go in because it's too dangerous, and it's Mount Doom's, I don't know, 5 miles away, and they're right there, but no, they have to go through another movie and a half to get there. Kind of same deal here. And we don't even know what caused the explosion. It's frustrating. If Girahim popped up and was like, hey, you want to go here? No. Then that would be one thing, but I guess we were just too late. Anyway, we need to activate this minecart. It is activated now, but that robot is in the way, and he won't stop being in the way until we take care of these enemies. I believe I'm going to show off an incredibly stylish way to take care of enemies. That's right. If you knock them out of the temporal distortion field, they will turn back into skeletons, and it is so cool. If you don't like dealing with enemies, or if you're not really good at blocking their swords or whatnot, and I'm not talking to you, then it's definitely a good alternative. There's not really a reliable way to push them in other than a Skyward Strike, but still overall, it could be safe. And that's right, the Lanayru mining facility. Different from the Lanayru mine. The mine was where they get the minerals, and then they ship it off to the mining facility, which I assume is the processing center. Anyway, interesting thingamajig here. Since the map was significantly different in the past, when it was all flourishing, there are actually some aspects to the present map that carry over from the past that are not immediately visible. It's a bit of a weird idea. It makes sense when you're playing, and it'll make sense once I demonstrate it to you. But it's weird. There's aspects to the map that you cannot see with your naked eye. Anyway, we need to get that minecart over. Like that. And we're probably gonna have to push the thing, isn't it? Yeah. Ancient flowers. Whenever you see that ancient flower, grab it. I said before that it was good for an upgrade. That is the main priority, but it's also, like, necessary for the plot. Which isn't as cool as the upgrade, but still. Bit of an interesting God's Cube there. I like that, because you actually need to plan ahead and charge your Skyward Strike before you start riding, or before you really get too much time on the minecart. Makes it almost something of a skill-based thing, rather than, oh, there it is, better strike it. Anyway, now we've navigated in a loop around this area, and we could probably get back to the first entrance if we wanted to. But we don't need to, because now we have access to another section of the main desert. And this is the section that is mostly affected by that alternate map weirdness that I was doing a poor job of explaining before. Basically, as you can see here, certain sections under the sand are in fact old pathways, and they're not completely dilapidated. So basically there's sand there, but you can run through, you don't need to worry about it. Basically those shaded areas are available for walking. And so it turns into kind of a crafty maze. You'll have to check on the map every once in a while, set up waypoints to navigate better. Not all paths will be able to lead you upwards to a higher elevation. Sometimes there will be dead ends, so you can't navigate by the map alone. Overall, I think it's pretty interesting. Anyway, we now have 5 waypoints rather than just the one. Definitely significantly more useful. Not that many situations where you'll use more than one. Oh, also those birds. Like, situation like this, absolutely, they're useful. But generally, other than very specific situations like this, they're just as useless as they were before. Anyway, let's bomb here. And that machine there is actually the opening mechanism to the mining facility. So we're going to need to do some witchcraft in order to open up the facility. And of course we have to do it in the past. Yeah, already kind of sick of the bokoblins. Skyward Strikes are definitely, I think, your best bet against the ones with electric swords, just because you can keep your distance, and generally they won't block if they're charging at you. So yeah, big puzzle of this area. We need to activate 3 power nodes of sorts for this generator to work, and the generator will open our way into the facility, and then the facility will lead our way into the Temple of Time, and then maybe we'll meet up with Zelda if she's still there. There we go. And we can douse for those 3 nodes once we save. And I imagine that some people would find this process tedious, because I'm right there, why can't I just go in? I don't want to deal with all this shenanigans, I want to go into the dungeon and have dungeon adventures. I mean, I think, as you'll see, these 3 nodes are pretty similar to dungeons in their own way. Except for the one that I'm doing right now. This one kind of sucks, to be honest. I think this is the one they expect you to do first, because it's really, really simple. Oh no, Link. Yeah, there is a bit of leeway with the stamina in that you can still sort of trudge forward and grab onto things when you're, like, all tuckered out. But generally, you don't want to risk things too much. So yeah, the first power node is up in this vicinity, and I think you could probably get away with it not even bothering with the time shift stone there. You could probably lob the bombs over safely, still in the present. Actually, no, I take that back. It would have to be in the past because the nodes don't operate in the present. Yeah, that was silly of me. See, I caught myself, though. But in this time, someone has already posted in the comments section that I'm wrong. Oh, no! No, Link, get out of there. Damn, bomb flowers are, like, hardy stuff. They can grow in some crap. They're like... Sand has no nutritional value. But they can grow. Now, I'm curious how the robots interacted with these things, because we stab our swords into them. Robots didn't have swords. I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. Anyway, there's one node. And we got 2 more to go, scattered around this section of the desert. I imagine some people might find this section tedious because you have to run all over the desert in order to activate all of them, and I don't know, some people don't like hanging around exploring these areas, but okay, what else? Anyway, yeah, that power node was pretty easy. I think meant to be an introduction to the concept, but the next 2 are actually genuinely pretty clever. They're a little easier to get to, but I think they're clever. Again with that target. So, Yeppery Doodle, bomb this wall. And... Secret cave. Now, I'm trying to figure out the logistics behind this. There's this, like, fully... Like, well, not operational anymore, it was in the past. This full operation facility thing inside the cliff. And I'm guessing, like, over the years there was a landslide which became a solid wall, or a mudslide maybe? Except it was supposed to have dried out, not have gotten wetter as time went on. I don't really know. I'm overthinking things again. But anyway, these last 2 power nodes are actually little miniature puzzle kind of dungeon-like sections. We basically need to get to the power node, which is blocked by a barred door. And in order to open the barred door, we need to insert those electrified snails into that little, like, power receiver thing. Oh, on the topic of electricity, something I actually didn't know, and it was pointed out in the comments section to me. Apparently, the wooden shield does not conduct electricity the way the iron shield does, the steel shield, whatever shield I have right now does. And that actually strikes me as pretty interesting. It makes sense now that I think about it. But, I mean, I never would have thought to go back to what I thought was a previously, you know, inferior shield. But now that I think about it, it makes sense because they don't offer you a new kind of shield after the second dungeon, even though there's another shield available to be gotten eventually that does not conduct electricity. So yeah, now you know. Now that you've, like, followed my videos and are probably through this section already, now you know. Anyway, I kind of glossed over it, but electric snails, yeah, apparently the snail enemies are really freaking old or something, because in the past they're little babies and in the present they're adults, so you can send them through time without them just completely disappearing. It's interesting, it's neat, I think it's clever. And it's pretty well demonstrated in the hey, you changed time cutscene. So, yeah. I will give that a pass. Now, one thing that I'm also totally overthinking is the fact that there are bokoblins here in the past. Basically implying that, yes, these dudes were an issue a long time ago, and contributing that thing, like, evil struck before, and now striking again. The world was in danger before, and now it's going to be in danger again. Of course, I don't know if any player would actually consciously think that unless they're overthinking things like me, because they're just the common enemy, so nothing particularly interesting or notable about them. But hey, you know, it's a thing. And now we only have one power node left to go. And it's way over here. And going here will actually also... Oh, there's God's Cube, I want that. Will also allow us to open up a section, a shortcut back to the first part of the desert, so we don't need to go through the Temple of Time section every time we want to go through here, which is definitely much appreciated. Now, I haven't said really much about navigating on the sand using the waypoints. Basically, I like to put them up at the intersections between paths, so that I can basically run straight from point A to point B and not get stuck in the sand most of the time if I'm thinking logically. You may or may not have your own methods. That's just what works for me, or at least it's what I first thought of, and apparently works, so yeah. Alright, and be sure to head over here and open up this switch here. Definitely a useful tool for anyone who enjoys exploring and moving around with relative ease. Also, saves point. And our last power node is in here. Now, personally, I think that this is the trickiest of the three nodes to manage to solve the puzzle for. I'm not really sure why it took me so long my first time playing through, but I'm gonna do this trickier. Because basically you need to manage both your location and the location of the enemy that you're trying to put in the thingamadoob. Because, as you know, you're going to be, heading back to the past, like here. And as you were about to see, once I head back in the past, once I kill this enemy, I guess. Alright, I guess I'm just solving the puzzle rather than demonstrating. Basically, you will want... Oh god. You will want to send an enemy flowing over there. As you can see, the sand is moving, like that one section of sand in the last episode. You'll want to send a shell over there and ride it over, because what you can't see in the present is that there is a giant bottomless pit separating most of the area and the power node section thingamadoo. So you're going to want to ride over, then hit the time switch, and use Mr. Bug to carry a snail back over. Because otherwise you wouldn't be able to get over in the past and go through the door, because you'd be stuck on the wrong side of the bottomless pit. So yeah, now that the snails are babies, we can use the new powers of Mr. Bug Mark II Omega and bring them back over. Also note that Mr. Bug is immune to electricity. Pretty rad. And yeah, those guys can be dicks. They might try to shock you while they're holding you, or while you're holding them. So generally I like to wait until they've loose their electricity and then grab them quickly and try to roll them in. Again, the kind of bad sensitivity on rolling can come into play here. You might try to roll, but Link will just lift it up, and then you'll get shocked, and it's just a horrible debacle for all involved. But it's not too tricky. They don't do too much damage. If you start dying, there's something wrong. Anywho, wonderful prizes. Don't really see why they're putting the blue rupees in the chests. They've put more money in less conspicuous things. And there we can see our 3 nodes are of lightning, fire, and water. Interesting. Not of like fire, water, grass, or like, yeah, it is weird. This is a desert. The only thing that matches with anything we've seen before in the game is fire for the volcano. Water doesn't fit with the forest or the desert, clearly. And lightning certainly doesn't fit with the forest or the desert. So it's strange. It's mysterious. What could they correspond to? Anyway, I'm thinking maybe you could actually make that puzzle work an alternative way if you screwed up by kind of using that box to get yourself over. But just do it my way. My way is the best. It always is. And now it's just a matter of heading back over to the power generator and activating it. Tumbleweed, tumbleweed. Tumbleweeds are actually pretty useful. And also it's really hard to resist just going around like, oh my god, a tumbleweed, gotta get it. There's tumbleweed, get it, Link, get it. Oh, Link, did you not notice it? Is that the problem? You're terrible. But yeah, you'll want a decent number of tumbleweeds for an upgrade later on. It's not one of my favorite upgrades, but it's nice. All upgrades are pretty nice, other than, I think, one I never really use. And we're heading back to the generator, almost there, we can do it. See, it's not very far of a walk if you're not, you know, messing around with snails. Anywho, keep in mind that you are about to enter a dungeon. I would say that I would keep that a secret, but it's pretty obvious. And generator's ready to go. We still need to set it up though. And setting up the generator actually confused me the first time I played through. I think I just didn't read it well enough. It must have said it somewhere. But basically, you need to point each node toward the thing that it came from. So like the water node needs to be pointed towards the water, like the water hand points to the water node, fire to fire, electricity to electricity. And so you'll want to check your map, see how it is on the compass, the cardinal directions and all that. And I'm sure the game tells you somehow Phi must pop up, but I was definitely confused for a little while. But now that it's sorted out, rise from the sea of sand. A very nice little mining facility. Anyway, I can get rid of these. Okay, I'm not going to get rid of them, fine. I didn't want to get rid of them anyway. I need to get rid of the stupid waypoints. That's what losers do. But anywho, we're about to head into the 3rd dungeon, and I will see you guys next time for the Lanayru mining facility.